We're going to bring in Carl Lewis now, who you were just literally up in the viewing room.
Yes, sir.
He is our defense attorney, legal analyst there. Right now, the jury says they cannot come to an agreement.
They're hopelessly deadlocked. The judge gave what's considered the Allen or Howard charge, which is probably what Stu was objecting to. He would rather be declared a mistrial, dismiss the charges. I would, as defense, Your Honor. We move for immediate dismissal. We object to the court giving another charge to the jury. They cannot, even after additional time of deliberation, they've sequestered, they've stayed in a hotel overnight, and the defense is saying, listen, judge, it's over. They cannot reach a verdict. You forced them to go back. It violates my client's rights. It prejudices my client. I want a mistrial right now, and that's probably what he's objecting to.
How long do you think it will take for her to make that ruling?
If the jury goes back, 10 minutes later, picks up that phone, calls the bailiff, says we're done. It's not going to happen. They could go back for another minute. They could come back for another hour. It's up to the jurors.
From your experience, how often does it work when a judge asks them to go back in and to reconsider the fact that they can't come to a conclusion?
Interesting you say that. I just had a hung juror on a case last week, and the judge gave the same charge, sent them back, didn't change things. I have had occasions where they've gone back and they've come back with a guilty and they've come back with a not guilty. So realistically, on a case of this magnitude, I would be shocked if in fact they came back in with a verdict. I think they're hung.
Do you think they've had an adequate amount of time to deliberate?
More than enough time. I mean, it's sufficient time, and the jurors can take as much time as they want. No one's pressuring them, no one's forcing them. From a defense perspective, that charge, when we think we've got a hung jury, that's a sort of a victory for the defense lawyer. So we feel that there's pressure to send them back. Judge, we want it over with. We'll take the hung jury, because sometimes the state won't try again. In this case, we're not sure what the count is, what the split. Could be 11-1. 10-2, 6-6. We don't know what that count actually is.
Officially, for those that are just tuning in to Not on Your Side right now, it's not necessarily a hung jury at this point. Correct. They can't come to a conclusion, correct?
The question is, was not a question, it was more of a statement. Your Honor, we've considered all the evidence, we've deliberated, we've talked back and forth. We cannot come to a unanimous verdict on count 1 or count 2.
This is what, when you walked up to me at about 11:45 today, this is what you said you thought was the process, and that's actually what's played out now.
Yes, sir.
What do you think happens from here?
Well, what happens from here is that, as you can see, the concern is going to be the community's response. The concern is going to be, do these protesters get agitated even more, get upset? So now the security measures that we've all been talking about are going to kick in, because we're not sure what the response is going to be from the community. And I would just urge everyone to use caution. The system, a lot of people argue, is not perfect, but it's our system. It's the best system of justice. And let the prosecutor decide what they're going to do.
You've heard this case. The judge stated clearly to the jury, you have the evidence you need to make a decision in this case. Do you agree with that?
Well, again, you have the evidence that's been presented by the state. So that's a loaded question. Sounds like you're a lawyer now. It's a very good question. You have the evidence that's been presented by the state. You're not getting any more. You're not going to have anything taken away. You have to take the evidence that's been given to you, use your collective wisdoms, your mind, your thoughts, and come to a verdict if you can.
Do you think that if this jury cannot come to a conclusion, that this case will be retried?
Again, it would boil down to the split. If, in fact, I've had cases where it's been 11-1, no question the state's going to retry. There's a lot of factors here that we're not aware of. This is a high-profile case. It's a very expensive case. I mean, the man hours, look at the hours that you guys have been putting in. It's a lot to take into consideration. But in a case of this magnitude, I don't think you can place a dollar amount on it. I would urge in that Joe Dieters, he's going to do the right thing, and if he feels that they have a strong case they want to present again, they will. They feel they've presented a strong case. In my opinion, it's going to boil down to the split.
Can you hang in here for a couple of more minutes? I'm going to go back up into the courtroom right now.